College's Community Impact Night 2020. My name is Christine Celine, and I'm the Director and Founder of County College, and it's my pleasure to gather here today. Today we gather to celebrate and acknowledge the great potential that lives within this room. We are unified in our purpose to solve one of society's most persistent challenges, lack of access to opportunity. Never mind the obstacles along our road to success. We stand together, united in our deep belief in the intrinsic value and potential of each one of you. Tonight is Community Impact Night, where we affirm that each of you students holds the key to the betterment of your own communities. My hope is that you may never feel alone on this path. You have an entire community of people who are behind you, who believe in you, and who are ready to invest in your enrichment and success. Within this program and the connections you'll make here, may you realize the great potential of this network and the friendships that you will make here, all for the unified purpose of success and self-betterment. And as you are on this path, bravely acknowledging and stepping into this path of service and humbly using your talents for good, may you take stock of those who come before you and those who stand with you. And most importantly, may you all open the door for those who come behind you. I appreciate all of our viewers at home watching with us, and thank you all students for being with us tonight. This year has brought the reality of some of our challenges so deeply and clearly within our view. We have been forced to dig deep within ourselves to find peace, comfort, hope, and personal agency for making our daily lives better, as well as the world a better place. More peaceful, more successful in our homes, in our school, and that projects outward into our future as well. May we never forget that we are the ones we've been waiting for. Let us not let our anxieties and the demoralization in some of this year's events, the deep grief of some of this year's events, hold us back. It must be the Father that fuels our fire. Having said that, one such leader in our community who I'm honored today is former County Commissioner, former County Mayor and current County Commissioner of District 7, Mack Bernard. He's going to speak to us about his career journey and his community impact. Mack has lived in Palm Beach County for 34 years. He is a product of the Palm Beach County public school system, where he was a member of JROTC and a high school wrestling champion. He went on to graduate from Florida State University with honors and the University of Florida's Lee College of Law. Mack and his wife Sean are currently raising 3 daughters in Palm Beach County. Currently, as I told you, Mack is the current county commissioner, and he sits as chair on the county's homeless advisory board, as well as the chair of the COVID-19 ad hoc committee, and as a policy leader on the finance and tax policy committee within the Florida Association of Counties. I appreciate County Commissioner Mack Bernard for being here today, and I hope that you listen closely. May you see yourself in him, and may you dream even bigger.
Thank you, Christine. My name is Mack Bernard, County Commissioner for Palm Beach County. I am really, really excited to be here today. Are y'all excited?
Woo!
Hey, come on now, that's exciting. Are y'all excited?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know that we're dealing with something called COVID-19. And just think about it. In Palm Beach County, we have over 1.5 million residents that call Palm Beach County their home. And today, which is going on right now, the FDA, their advisory board, they're meeting right now to decide on whether or not they're going to give an emergency use authorization for the vaccine that was submitted by Pfizer. What does that mean for the state of Florida and in Palm Beach County? How many of y'all will take the vaccine? But just think about it. We have 1.5 million residents in Palm Beach County. Over 70,000 people in the county that have tested positive for COVID-19. There are many people who are in the hospital, people in ventilators, ICU beds, and so we have to, make a decision on, how do you decide on do you want to have a vaccine, and how do you protect our residents and some people who have fear of, whether or not they should take this vaccine. So these are some decisions that we would have to decide as a board of county commissioners. We have 7 county commissioners in Palm Beach County, and I'm one of 7. My district, it goes from Lake Park, Riviera Beach, West Palm Beach, Lakewood, Montana, Boynton Beach, and I go all the way down to Delaware. So I represent 10 different municipalities. And so that we're making decisions for the whole county, but the 5. Our budget for the county is $5 billion that our budget that we decide on for the county. And so I have the pleasure and I enjoy serving as a county commissioner because we get the chance to impact the residents of Palm Beach County. Now, a little bit about me, since I'm here to speak to you. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Anybody, any people from Haiti here, any Haitians here at all? Yeah. Oh, we got a good number of Haitians here in this house. I was born in Haiti, and my sister and I, in 1986, we came to the United States together. I was 10 and she was 12. And so we didn't get a chance to come with parents, so we came together on a flight September 19, 1986. Eastern Airlines, y'all probably never heard of Eastern Airlines. Probably some of the old folks have heard of Eastern Airlines. But we came together in 1986.
And so a taxi picked us up from Delray Beach and dropped us off in Miami Airport and dropped us off in Delray Beach. Grandmother and my aunt had a friend that lived in Delray Beach, and they sent us to live with them so that way we can get a better life. And so I enrolled in the at Pine Grove Elementary School, didn't speak English, and so I was in the ESOL program at Pine Grove Elementary School. And then when I finished Pine Grove Elementary School, then I went to Carver Middle School. It's the old Carver Middle, not the new one that's on Barwick and Atlantic. And then I decided that I went to high school, and I went to Atlantic High School, and I graduated from Atlantic High School. Some of the kids do know that I graduated from Atlantic High School in 1995. So that's 25 years ago. So I graduated from Atlantic High School. And while I was at Atlantic High School, I decided that I wanted to be in ROTC. So I was like the guy who was, who's going to drop you and give you push-ups and color guard, honor guard, everything that you can think of, as an Army ROTC person. That's what I was. And so I did that for 4 years. And when I graduated from Atlantic High School, I was the battalion executive officer, second in charge at Atlantic High School. I was a wrestler, and I enjoyed wrestling. I wrestled 112. I was a 112 pounder at Atlantic High School, and I wrestled for 3 years at 112. Year I was like one of the best wrestlers in the state. I got injured, and so we were wrestled against Lakewood High School. And so I remember it was my last match. I still remember, and my knees locked, and I couldn't finish the match. And so, but I still stayed, and I won the match, and then I never wrestled again. So I had to do surgery. But you know what that taught me was, it gave me the opportunity when I couldn't wrestle anymore. I decided that, hey, my wrestling career is done, so I want to do dual enrollment. So I did dual enrollment at Palm Beach. It was Palm Beach Community College back then. And so I did dual enrollment at Palm Beach Community College. And by the time that I did dual enrollment. I think when I went to Florida State, I already had 30 credits of college credits. And what's funny is that I went to Palm Beach Community College, and then when I was a state representative, I ended up being the representative who ended up changing the name of Palm Beach Community College to Palm Beach State College. So, so I was the one who did the bill to change the name, and so in that way they can offer baccalaureate programs at Palm Beach State College. And then I decided I was like gonna go to Florida State, and I graduated high school in 1995. I already had 30 credits. Florida State, and I took 21 credits a semester at Florida State, and I graduated from college in 1997. So I did college in 2 years, and so are y'all complaining about y'all work? I just need to know. So I did a double major in political science and criminal justice. So I graduated in 2 years, and then I came back to Palm Beach County, and so I started my own company in Palm Beach County. And then I had told my partners that I was going to go to law school in 2 years. So I applied to go to law school, and I applied to go to both Florida State and UF. I was accepted at University of Florida for law school. Law school is for 3 years, and while I was at University of Florida, I took too many classes, so I ended up doing law school in 2 years instead of three. And so I graduated with honors from University of Florida. And then I decided like I wanted to be a tax attorney. And I remember this person was like, it's from the Black Law Student Association. They're like, there's no black tax attorneys. I'm like, well, I'm going to be the next black tax attorney. So I decided I wanted to be a tax attorney. So I stayed an extra year and a half to get a master's in tax law. So I've been a tax attorney in Palm Beach County, since 2002. So for over 18 years, I've been an attorney, a tax attorney, which is a whole different ball game. I don't go to court. So if you get into trouble, which I hope you don't get into trouble, I can't help you. So now if you don't pay your taxes and all that kind of stuff, then I probably will be able to represent you. But as a tax attorney, you charge a lot of money. It's like every time I was in the library, somebody's got to pay for that. So tax attorneys, they bill $250 to $500 an hour. So which is important. You got to think about it. If you buy a property for $1 million, and then all of a sudden, if you sell it 10 years later, it's worth $10 million. IRS is going to say, hey, I need to get 45% of your $10 million. Do you want to pay that? You don't. Am I right? You don't want to pay that. That's almost half the value. But guess what? You have to hire a tax attorney to make sure, to represent you, to figure out exactly how can you avoid from paying the taxes to, properly. And that's what we do for a living. And so I've been in public service. I started as a city commissioner in Delray Beach because I wanted to serve. I wanted to give back to my community. So I became a city commissioner in Delray Beach. And immediately, like within a year, I became a state representative because a seat opened up. I went to Tallahassee to be able to serve in Tallahassee. To pass, my first bill was to change Palm Beach Community College to Palm Beach State College. And then I passed a bunch of other bills. And then guess what? In 2012, I ran for state senate. And man, that was the toughest race that I've ever run. It was brutal. Like, it was during the Olympics. I remember the negative ads that they were throwing at me. It was just bad. I was like, man, I don't even recognize myself. And so, but they spent like over $1 million in negative ads against me, and I ended up losing by 17 votes. So, so sometimes you gotta, you win some and you lose some. So I lost by 17 votes, and I was like, okay, there's work that we need to continue to do in our community to continue to improve. So, went back to the drawing board, and 4 years later, I became a county commissioner. And let me tell you, the county commission, like you get the chance to impact your community. Like that's the best job that I've ever done, which is as a county commissioner. In regards to COVID, which has impacted everybody, one of the things that I worked on really hard was to make sure that we had testing sites in Palm Beach County. The White House had denied us from having a testing site. The governor was playing games. And so we went and worked on to make sure we had the testing sites in Palm Beach County to make sure some of the tests are free for our residents. And right now I've been having conversations regarding vaccination to make sure that it is free, accessible, and that it is safe for our residents. So these are the things that I'm working on that I've like really enjoyed. But let me explain something to you, which is like I became the mayor of the county, 1.5 million residents. And I never knew that I didn't tell you this, but you know, first of all, I was an orphan. I've never met my parents, never met my mom or dad, and they left me when I was 3 months old. For 30 years later to be the mayor of this great county. That's a testament to hard work, God, and you know, so it's really important for you to really like you have to enjoy the moment, but you have to be serious and you have to work hard. And so I get the chance to come and speak to you, but just think about it. Never met my parents, to come to the United States at the age of 10. For both my sister and I became an attorney. She's an actuary mathematician. And I'm a tax attorney, a political person. I have a family. I have 3 girls that I'm raising here in Palm Beach County. So I've had the pleasure and the opportunity of making changes in my community. And so that's the reason why I do some of the things that I do, but I'm very committed. Now, let me tell you, if I was in your class and I was in your high school, you knew that there was going to be one less A for you. Because if I'm in your class, if there's 4 A's, I'm taking one of them. So you know that you're like, Mac shouldn't be in this class. When I was in and if I was in college, you knew that it was going to be one less A. When I was in law school, not only you knew there was going to be one less A, I wanted to get the highest A because then you get an award for that. So I wanted to get the top A in law school. So that's what I tried to do in law school. So I'm very committed. I'm very passionate about what I do. I eat healthy, which is important. I work out. I try to stay healthy, and I'm very committed. And so everything that I do, I'm passionate about it. And you know, I think some of the people who've worked with me will tell you that, you know, I'm a tyrant sometimes. But that's because like I'm really passionate about everything that I do. So I don't want to be too long. I'd love for you to ask me questions because, you know, this is for you, and whatever that you want to ask, I'm here. Go ahead.
In office, was that always one of your first choices?
I'll tell you what, I didn't know like the role of right now serving as a county commissioner, especially during a pandemic. Wow, you really get the chance to really impact your community. You know, like from a professional perspective, I'm a tax lawyer and I don't get to practice as much anymore because of the work that we do. It's basically full time, you know, every day. And so it's kind of like my profession.
How did you overcome the language barrier when you first got here to the United States? And do you think the ESOL program helped you to overcome that barrier?
Yeah, like so first of all, milk tasted nasty. I'm like, man, this is awful. And so you know, I started in the ESOL program in 4th and 5th grade. And then when I went to Carver Middle School, they put me back I program in elementary school, and then they put me back into the ESOL program. I was so devastated because I was like, man, I thought that I had left the ESOL program, and then they put me back in 6th grade. So I was like embarrassed. And so, but I had to really work hard because there were some things that I had struggled with. And so I was good in math, but not good in reading and writing. So now I know why they put me back. But But what I can tell you, I still remember one of my teachers in 7th grade. She called me last week. She's got an issue that she'd like for us to work on. And in my 7th grade, I think it was like the second semester or the second quarter, I received straight A's, and she gave me this button that said that I was 1 in a million, and I still remember that button that she gave me. So, and she was in the ESOL program. She really helped me, and so that really was important. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I have two questions, and my first question is, if you were to go back to ninth grade, is there anything different you would do?
I wish I did better in earth space science, because I didn't do well in earth space science in 9th grade. If I can go back to 9th grade, um, I pr- I probably would have, like, I remember in my reading class, I had this in Atlantic High School. I think he still teaches there, Coach Marone. He's a teacher at Atlantic High School, and he used to really try to work with me on reading and writing. And so if I could go back, I really wish that I did better in his class. But because I didn't do well in his class, he forced me to join the wrestling team, so in that way he can help me after school. So that was really important. Next question.
My second question is, do you have any advice for the college admission process?
The college admission process, it's hard. But remember, you have to be yourself. You have to tell your story, and you're the only one who can really tell your story. And so, if you have to give a personal statement, just be truth and be honest with whatever that you're going through, whatever your struggles and everything, because that's how it works. It's not just based on your scores on the SAT, but that you have to tell who you are and why is it that you should be at that school, and that's really important. Yes.
After you graduated from law school, were there any other fields of law that you were interested in other than tax?
Oh no, I want to be a tax attorney. It's only one field, so I didn't want to be any other type of lawyer, and I wasn't good at any other type of law, and so I was great in tax. I did it's like straight A's, and everybody would struggle in tax. I remember my wife, she took one of the tax courses at UF, and I convinced her to take it, and she was like, Buster Brown, don't ever let me take that class again. But I love tax, so that's why it's something that it's like we fell in love. Yes.
What were the major differences between you and commissioner?
The major difference is, you're like, I represent you have a district, and so my district is more east of I-95, where I have a minority district, and so we have different issues versus the whole county. So when you're the mayor, you're making decisions on the whole county, and so you have to make decisions that that helps people in Boca, that helps people in Wellington, Belle Glade, Pahokee, and South Bay. So everywhere in the county. So you have to take into account everything, and then you've got to listen to your other commissioners to make sure that they're able to accomplish their goals.
Can you tell us about your worst day and your best day working with the county commission?
My worst day, sometimes there's some issues that you want to. Like, I'll tell you what. Like last year, I proposed a housing bond, and that was because there's lack of affordable housing throughout the whole county, and because houses are really, really high, so your parents, like, to rent a place in the county or to own, it's really tough. So last year, I worked hard to create a proposal to do a housing bond, and so I wanted to allocate $150 million to build 20,000 new housing units in the county. And then COVID hit, and so I had to pull that item off the table, and so that's something that was a really tough day for me, having to pull that and say, hey, we can't do it right now, which is something that we desperately need in the county. And one of my best days, um, when I started in the county, I learned that we're a big county with a $5 billion budget, but close to 95 to 97% of the money that the county spends are mostly with white male businesses. And so what I did was I was like, we need to change that. And so we had to do something called a disparity study in order for you to create opportunities for women, black women owned businesses, and Caucasian women owned businesses, Hispanic owned businesses. You have to do a disparity study. And then after you do the study, if it comes back that there's a disparity, then you can create a different set asides that say, hey, this group needs to get a 10% of those contracts. And let me tell you, some of the people who are happy with the way things are, they attacked me and they still don't talk to me right now. But we ended up passing that. And so, like, now, women owned businesses, Caucasian owned businesses, Black, female owned businesses, African American businesses, Hispanic owned businesses, now they have a piece of the pie. And where, uh, like, we did a contract with this company for waste, where the people who pick up garbage, we create a small group of uh, a small section, and a black owned business won that section. And my God, the guy was crying, when he was awarded that opportunity. And so that's something that you try to do. But my days, I can tell you, my days are really busy. I get up really early in the morning. Um, I'm usually at the gym at least 6 days a week. And so I don't have time to play games. I'm at the gym, I work out, I take my kids to school. So I drop my little one to school, and then I go to meetings and everything. And then I will pick them up after school, take them to dance. And so tonight, whenever my schedule is done for the day, I'll pick them up from dance. And so my wife is an attorney. She works for the school district, so we're both attorneys. And so we're really involved in the community. Questions? I can take more questions. Christine, any question for me?
So my question would be, how do you see potential, or how do you kind of raise potential in somebody who you think possibly could be the next county commissioner, such as yourself?
Well, first of all, it's, a lot of people, we have so many people who, they see you as a county commissioner, but they don't know, like, the work that goes behind being a county commissioner. Like, when I ran for county commissioner, I would knock on doors pretty much 10 hours a day since, like, I think I started in September through the following August. So almost 11 months that we're knocking on doors every single day, to make sure that the voters get to know you and then to vote for you. So sometimes they don't understand, like, that part of it. But what I do try to do is, like, I really try to mentor people who wants to be in politics, and sometimes dealing with me is not easy. I can tell you that. And Christina would tell you that dealing with me is not easy, because I can tell you, when she was running for city commissioner, pregnant, and I used to be cracking the whip, making no mercy. Like, hey, it was on election day. On election day, she's like about to her. And before I get to that part, the week before, it was her anniversary. She wanted to go to have lunch with her husband, to have lunch. And I was like, you can't go to lunch. You're going to have more anniversaries. So if you want to win, you have to be committed. And so I was like, you can't go to lunch. And I was pissed that she wanted to go to lunch. And then election day, she was tired, but like there were things that needed to be done, and she was like reluctantly she did them, and she was able to avoid a runoff because she did those things. And so, but you have to be committed. But like typically, like I'm very committed, which means that I always want you to work as hard as I'm gonna work, because I'm always gonna outwork you, but I want you to work. So you just got to be committed. Like when I was a state representative, my two people who worked for me, they were Al Powell. They were my assistants, and Bobby is a state senator now in the county, and Al was a state rep. He was a city commissioner. So, so they were committed to, helping the residents. And so, but I try to make sure that I mentor. And then we do, like in my office, we take interns over the summer. And so if you want to intern in our office, we would love to have you. If you reach to Miss Romulus, she'll give you my information, and then like we will take you as an intern, and you'll see what we do at the county. And it's fun to come to the commission to hear some of the concerns that the residents are going through. And so, and I even have like a paid internship. So, so we do try our best to make sure that we're providing into county. Any other questions for me? Yes.
Hardship, and how did you overcome it?
I think that I would say, you name it, I've been through it. Come on, like, like I didn't speak English, didn't have no parents, come to the United States. I was one of those dreamers, to try to, to go to school, and everything that you can think of, we went through it. But by the grace of God, we're here. And but we're committed to giving back to the community that really helped us. And that's the reason why we continue. But it's been tough. But yes, we did it, but we did it proudly. And we continue, like both my sister and I, we continue to serve our community that raised us. And so that's the reason why we're here. We want to help everybody in the community.
Wow, right? Is that not an example of excellence before us today? One thing that I heard in Commissioner Bernard's story that I know we try to emulate and promote for our students is this idea of no excuses, right? No excuses, there are no limits. And another thing that I feel that I've gotten out of that is that idea that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So treat every day like it's the most important day of your life. Okay. And thank you. I'm so pleased to have you. I feel that I know many of your stories so closely align with Max, are so similar. And so I hope you see that there are truly no limits. And so now we are going to move on to your proposals tonight, your community impact proposals. So we heard about all the different ways Commissioner Bernard has done amazing things for our community, from housing to COVID. I am so thankful that we have testing sites in Palm Beach County. Thank you, Commissioner. Dear Lord, so important to have great leadership. So with that, you all have had the opportunity to think thoroughly about an issue. And so we're going to be going through your groups. I have Miss Christina Romulus is going to come up and introduce our groups. So almost time. Thank you, Christina.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. It has been a few weeks that we've been working on this and diligently putting it together, and I am so proud of you all in advance already because I know you guys are going to rock it. So this is the order that our proposals will go in. So first we will have Serenity for the youth, Then we'll have the group that will present on homelessness. Then we will have mass incarceration. Next, we will followed by the impurity, pollution. Next will be education reform. I'm excited to hear about that one. Next is drugs versus society. I like the title of that one. Whoever came up with that, good one. Next is mental health awareness. And lastly, we will talk about violence against minorities. So I will have our first group come up who will present on serenity for the youth. Group are Aisha, Ariel, Faith, Katora, and Sandrine. So ladies, if you can please step up.
Hi, today we present to you our proposal, Society for the Youth, to propose about mental health awareness. The issue that we are facing today in our community is the deterioration of mental health in young adults.
So some stress-inducing factors that lead to the deterioration of mental health include poverty, abusive households, and however these are not always the case, and mental health, the decline of mental health can affect anyone.
On this slide, we have our statistics. If you look to the left to the right, on the first statistic or we have image of showing mental health that has sorry. If you look to the first image on the left, you can see an image for of adults that have either experienced mental health illness or are suffering with it right now. If you look in the middle, this is an image rates of suicidal rates in local county in Florida. And if you look to the top right is a statistic that we have done by the group, and it shows the quality of sleep. The quality of sleep can affect someone's mental illness and can cause depression, anxiety, and mania.
On previously stated statistics, I had created a health assessment to acquire a higher understanding and representation of the mental well-being of our local youth. The following pie charts reflect some of the responses. 63% have agreed that they have been feeling more stressed than usual. Over 57% agreed that they believe it's easy. Over 57% of the statistics believe that it is really hard for them to open up about their issues and also trust others. And over 73% stated that they have been feeling very uneasy about their future. This assessment addresses our targeted group, which is ages 14 to 25. When creating our mental health assessment, I included an optional explanation space per question, which our youth took advantage of, and the following 4 conclusions are derived from such responses. Our youth is lack sleep due to excessive schoolwork, prior sleeping. A lack of sleep has a negative effect on our behavior. Poor immunity and high blood pressure. On top of lack of sleep, our youth has excessive worries about the future. The assessment shows that our youth fears to fail and are feeling uncertain and worried about passing school and their financial stabilities. On top of that, they have poor eating habits. Many of the students who have taken it has stated that they've been eating too little or too much, and they have a fluctuation of their appetite. And most importantly and most shockingly, a lot of students claim that they do not know how to handle their stress. And this is an issue because when ignoring your health, it can lead to depression, anxiety, and personal disorders. Improper management of stress will also increase individuals' chances of heart disease.
So we are introducing our program, Serenity for the Youth. So our program is aimed at young adults who have mental illness issues. And we understand that not everybody wants to talk about their struggles. So our program it has a variety of activities to help out members escape reality and just have fun. And so some of the activities that we have to alleviate mental struggles in our community include yoga. Yoga helps with the overall fitness and body image. And then we have meditation. Meditation controls anxiety, stress, and other emotional issues. Board games. We have board games, and this gives a feeling of unity and familiarity to our within our members. And then we have counseling services with volunteers, peers, and then we have drawing and painting, and then we have picnics at parks.
Because of the pandemic that we are facing this year, we have done COVID-19 accommodations. The first thing that we will do is check everyone's temperature when in. Secondly, all activities will be scheduled ahead of time. We will have a head count, and we will also be doing virtual lessons for those who cannot attend.
So where will Serenity for the Youth be established? So initially, our program aims to be implemented in schools as clubs. We'll have teachers recruited as peers. And then we can promote our program through social school counselors and teachers, and then word of mouth. So we hope our program gains, we could move it on to other schools, and then we can meet outside, so in coffee shops, libraries, parks, public spaces.
In terms of funding for Serenity for the Youth, we will apply for grants from organizations such as Philanthropy Tank and Teens for Trails. We accept proposals to help, and of course, we will accept a helping hand and donations. Thank you.
Thank you to our ladies from Serenity for the Youth. So we do have our judges are watching virtually, will be judging. So as you come up, we ask you to please project your voice so that they can hear you, because they're listening online. So they really need to hear you speak into the mic. So don't be afraid, mic won't bite you. Speak up, all right, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, ladies, for your presentation on Serenity for the Youth. So next, our next group will be presenting on homelessness. And those individuals are Barzil, Calvin, Maria, Nicole, and Shanika.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My group is on homelessness. Sorry, take 3. Good evening, everyone. Me, Calvin, Maria, Nicole will be presenting our topic on homelessness. In Lake Worth, particularly in John Prince Park. Now, in the first slide, you will see the John Prince we all know and love that we drive by past very often. And this is the side of John Prince that we don't necessarily get to see. This is our homeless population with a total of 140 members that since August have been relocated.
If you all may kindly, please, and Google John Prince Park and go to images, and then tell me what you see. Tents. A lot of tents. All those tents come together and form one encampment area called Tent City. While Tent City has been dismantled in August of 2020, it was home to many vagrants who had nowhere else to go. Over the course of 1 year, Tent City Tent City increased from a scatter of personal tents to a densely populated encampment property. With the expansion of 70 individual tents increased to the size of a football field. Since 2019, Tent City has had an 8% increase of homeless people and families. The number of identified homeless people jumped from 397 to 1,510 in Lake Worth. Ladies and gentlemen, Tent serves as an answer to the real issues of our community. Now, if Tent City was dismantled, then if Tent City was dismantled, then what would our solution be? Well, through a lot of extensive research, my colleagues and I have come up with a proposal that we believe would leave impact.
Most all may know the name Salvation Army or Goodwill. That is where most people donate their old clothes and shoes. However, Salvation Army is not necessarily the best option for home community, as every dollar donated, 80% of that goes to homeless programs. The charity work is on average a C, and it does not support the LGBTQ community. And we will not use, as our proposal, we will not use cash. We only accept, so we won't discriminate for profit, basically. A sad reality, and it's actually true, 26 billion pounds of that ends up in landfills are clothes and shoes alone. Due to the pandemic, people have been ordering clothes and shoes online, and about 3.5 billion shoes and clothes are returned, and all of that goes directly to landfills. It does not make it back to the retails, nor does it get donated. So, in fact, a retail clothing store by the name of Eddie Bauer, actually, instead of donating to the homeless, they rather destroy the items so that they're unusable for the homeless people. And this is an issue that it concerns not only me, but for everyone that does not necessarily have a home. So this is where our proposal comes in.
So here's our proposal. So just like a blood drive, what we're gonna do is just like how a blood drive would work. We're gonna do something that's like a gift drive. So what collecting is non-perishable foods, unwanted clothing. Of course, it has to be clean. We don't want any to give away any dirty clothing. Old clothes. Old toys. It could be any type of toys, teddy bears to dump trucks or whatever it may be. Books, cases of water, blankets, and uplifting letters for the poor homeless because they're going through rough times. So anything could help that far. Here's a bag of toys that I've collected for over a year. And so we're ahead of the game. We're starting to collect things if our proposal gets picked. And yeah. So here's the things that we will definitely not accept. We will not accept used undergarments, expired foods, already open food items, dirty items, broken items, cash, used hygiene products, or hazard items. And you guys may be wondering why we won't accept any. Well, some homeless people, they use cash for different reasons, and so just to avoid that, as a general, we're just gonna avoid it. We won't be accepting cash.
Okay, so what we do is we will do this. First, we'll give people a week to donate. From December 13 to December 9, we can collect all of the donations. Then we will set up the pavilion from 10:30 to December 19 or December 20. We'll be at the John Prince Park in the pavilion. There's in the slides. And then how? Well, we'll ask for friends and family for the donations. The drop points will be at our houses. And we'll also talk to companies because, as we say, they throw away a lot of things for the homeless people. So yeah. And also, let's not forget COVID. So we'll have some safety guidelines. People in need of items will be at different stations according to their needs. Everyone will be wearing a mask and gloves, and people will not be able to try on the clothes. Also, we will prepare canned foods, as we say already. Another thing that it's not in the slides, we would like to add, we will be offering community service hours to encourage students to help us with the drive. We're not sure how many yet, but we're gonna add. Yeah, we will also be offering hand sanitizer over there before and after the items are touched. So yeah, thank you for your time and for listening to us. This is the holiday benefaction drive.
For the first group that came up, I just want you guys to come later so I can get a group picture of you at the end, okay? All right, so now we will move on to our next group. Our next group will be conquering the very difficult topic of mass incarceration. In this group, we have Courtney, Donnell, Merlene, Sabrina, and Wilkins. Ladies and gentlemen, please come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Courtney Balat. I'm Merlene Samples. And I'm Sabrina Davies. And today we will be discussing the topic of mass incarceration.
Incarceration is the state of being confined in prison or to be imprisoned. The U.S. has one of the highest incarceration rates with about 698 per 100,000 people. Florida, one of the states with a high incarceration rate, has about 833 per 1,100 people incarcerated. Over the years of incarceration, the United States has increased significantly since 1980, when the federal legislature passed a law that would ensure that those convicted would be imprisoned. The problem includes the following: the mandatory minimums in terms, the increased sentence lengths, the requirements of prison time for minor offenses, the intensified punishment for drug crime, and people being placed in jail before trial. All of these contribute to the mass incarceration and imprisonment. There is a large racial disparity in incarceration. People who live in poor minorities communities have always had substantially higher rates of incarceration than any other group, which is why the effects on harsh penal policies in the past decades have fallen on the Black and Hispanic people.
Police brutality has been going on for a very long time in history. Police brutality is unwarranted or excessive and often illegal use of force against civilians by U.S. police officers. Police brutality affects more men than women. It also affects Black people more with death through police brutality than more. As you can tell, police abuses their powers a lot against. An example of police brutality is the Central Park Five. It is an example of police brutality because of the miscarriage of justice that engulfed Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusuf Salam, Raymond Santiana, and Corey Wise, the Black and Latino teenagers from the Harlem who were wrongly convicted of the horrific 1989 crime. The brutal beating and rape of a white woman in New York City Central Park provoked public outrage and a sensational headline during the prosecution and conviction of the 5 defendants. Less known is the story of the eventual exoneration of the men who served full prison sentences. This is one of thousands of examples of police brutality. Excessive punishment, disproportionate arrest convictions, and sentences have devastated our communities. Through many legislations that are implementing regulations to ensure and voting access to large leeway that are given to states, which leads to these restrictions. And the election, which is a factor to our country, systematic discrimination toward the minority population. A way to minimize supporting laws that are regulating excessive incarceration policies is to simply research who is the candidate. In many elections, voters are voting on party recognition, on name recognitions, in the ballots when voting. What many people have failed to realize is with the lack of knowledge of political leaders and their stance, laws that authorize inhuman sentences and mass incarceration.
In 2016 election, according to the research.org, it states that when it comes to knowing where the candidate stands on major issues facing the nation, voters say they know more about Clinton's position than Trump's. 48% know a lot, 32% know some, and just 18% know not much or nothing about Clinton's stances. By contrast, voters are 12% more likely to say they know little or nothing about Trump's position, 30%, and while 41% say they know a lot and 27% know some. This goes to show why it is important to further expand your knowledge on candidates' stances. This also should apply to all other candidates who are on the ballot, not just those who are running for presidency. This is important because it's those potential leaders who are making, processing, and approving crucial and extreme laws that are affecting mass incarcerations. The lack of knowledge and participation on our part, it is affecting laws, regulations, and communities.
With a list of factors as to why incarceration rates are increasing aggressively, seeking a solution is our primary goal. Various solutions include investing in crime prevention policies. The first step to investing into crime prevention policies would be listening to what the community needs. This will include reinvesting funds into schools and into building the safety of neighborhoods, which will lead to improvement in the structure and the community. Another form of policy prevention with awareness of incarceration rates through the development of an organization that focuses on informing states as well as other major semi-major groups about ways to reduce the likeliness of incarceration. In addition, avoiding incarceration for smaller crimes. About $31,000 from taxpayers' money is utilized per prisoner. This is not limited to the crime committed, nor the amount of sentencing they are expected to serve. Minor crimes such as drug possession and petty theft are being justified through incarceration rather than funds to provide service hours, treatment, and/or probation for the person instead. This will reduce inessential incarceration and provide an opportunity of change for the individual instead. And lastly, reducing minimum and maximum sentencing. Giving individuals the opportunity to meet a precise requirement that is commendatory for parole rather than sentencing them to an impractical sentence may lead to a gradual but sufficient decrease in incarceration.
Although this situation brings about the opportunity to create change for the generation worldwide, we as a community can begin to make a change now in the state of Florida. As fellows of the Path to College organization, we are inspired by the change of students. to promote change in our community. Therefore, we designed a program aimed to further growth and the knowledge and reform policies within our community through students like us, high school students. Our organization is called Within Us. Within us, we will change extreme reform policies. Within us, we will reduce mass incarceration. Within us, we will educate the youth, strength within our community.
By partnering with organizations such as Path to College, United Way of Palm Beach County, and Stafford Law Firm, we will be able to gather members to commence an organization that targets informing members of the community about incarceration. Gathering local individuals to become members brings about a more empathetic relationship that can be established between both groups. Step 2 would be thoroughly researching complications as well as resolutions to incarceration. Elaborately researching allows us to provide a beneficial and dependable information to the group being informed. And lastly, scheduling meetings, workshops, and presentations we'll be able to do while educating people about this issue, and we will be able to spread awareness and make a change. Community impact proposal.
Great job, ladies. Great job. All right. And next up, we have our next group that will be presenting, and their title is The Impurity Pollution. And the group members are Amelia, Bianca, Giselle, Johnny, and Tyanji. Ladies and gentlemen.
Greetings, everyone. One of the most devastating problems we face in our community is the ugly impurity of pollution. I proudly introduce Giselle, me, Johnny, which he had to leave early, Bianca, Tyenji, and Amelia. So the question is, what kinds of pollution affect Palm Beach County? So first of all, the most biggest types of pollution affect Palm Beach County: water pollution. Water pollution is when debris and chemicals contaminate a source of water, which come from outfall pipes, storm runoff, and trash. Outfall pipes in West Palm Beach luckily have been shut down, and that's a positive for us. But what is affecting the water pollution more is plastic, bottles, cans, plastic bags, basically what we use every single day. And so sea turtles and our corals are suffering because of it. And so we need to cut it down because sadly, as when we were researching, there was one turtle weighing 1.6 ounces that ingested 287 pieces of plastic. Imagine if that were a person, we'd take more action, but we're not. And so a group of researchers at the University of Florida have observed 42 washback sea turtles, the other turtle that I just mentioned. Water pollution also affects our utility, what you shower with, what you use to wash your dishes, what you use to flush down the toilet as well. There's a lot of harmful substances in our water, in our tap water. And so you can how that can affect us. We can get cancer, for example. And so basically, we should try to limit what we use with our water. Well, not limit what we use with our water, but try to find ways to help with that problem. And so I'll pass it on to, thank you.
Land pollution community. There is an abundance of land pollution that can be visible or non-visible, and littering is an example of visible pollution, while soil contamination is a non-visible pollution. And in our community, we see litter and trash, masks, gloves, and clean that there's corona on the street everywhere we go. And although that doesn't mean people aren't doing their part to help beautify the county, it goes to show how much more we need to educate. Focusing on non-visible pollution, there's a vast amount of soil contamination in Palm Beach County. Arsenic is a chemical element that can be harmful to people that are frequently exposed to it. Remnants of arsenic can be found in many older golf courses, like the one pictured in the screen. However, there's been some changes where golf courses are being newly renovated or some that are in the process of being renovated. And although this is good change, been a little hindered because of how costly it is. And I'll be passing it on to Tangi.
Air pollution. Air pollution refers to the release of pollutants into the air that are detrimental to the human health by solid, liquid, or gas particles suspended into the air. These particles come from things like cars, trucks, factories, and dust. The average person breathes about 3,000 gallons of air each day. While air is invisible, air pollution affects major parts of our body and consists of deadly poisons which damage our lungs, flow into our bloodstream, increase our blood pressure, which may also cause stroke. The quality of air affects how we live and breathe, especially when you're a child or an older adult. In the Palm Beach County, the air quality is good, as you can see from the right, but the main pollutant, the PM 2.5, which is a secondary that comes from the burning chemical reactions that take place from trucks and cars. Now moving on to Amelia.
Hi, I'm Amelia. Aware of light pollution because they think of light natural. Light pollution is the presence of artificial light in the nighttime environment, which can alter natural light conditions. Look at the picture on the slide right there. You can see the light at night in Florida. Artificial lights in homes, city lights, building lights, and also traffic lights. These lights conceal natural lights from the moon and the stars. Bob Park states $110 billion in wasted light. The electrical light produces about 750 million tons of CO2, harming our air and reefs. In Palm Beach County, sea turtles are also affected by light pollution, requiring permits from our EMRs to place light sources at beachfronts to eliminate impact.
And so some of our proposals that our group came up with to help reduce the different types of pollution include water pollution first and foremost, is to buy water filters for your shower head or sink, petition the city for more trash and recycling bins in convenient places along beaches, city, conserve water, which is shorter showers, turning the faucet off, of chemical liquids other than water, solid objects to drain, and check contaminants in your water.
Another proposal that I have for land pollution is to get sponsors on do fundraisers to gain some money to flourish the land that has been taken arsenic in golf courses. And another solution is to partner with organizations to promote environmentalism, Solid Waste Authority, or is mainly focused in the ocean and water.
For light pollution, we should only light areas that need light and when they need light, such as our communities, which that I see of don't really have street lights or lampposts. We should use energy efficient light bulbs such as LEDs or spiral CFLs. We should use powered solar light and petition the city to shield and direct light posts down. And for air, what we can do is basically, for air pollution, other ways we can help is to find different modes of transportation. Use a public bus, walk if you can, bike if you also can. You can carpool with a friend or family. Look for the Energy Star label when buying home or office equipment, burning leaves, trash, and other materials, whether it's inside or outside. And as Sun Tzu once said, great results can be achieved with small forces. So what now? All different types of pollution can leave remarkable impacts on our communities, especially the flora and fauna around us. We can help by doing our part in small ways, such as recycling, holding events to raise awareness, making petitions to change the rules about their environmental problems. And so, change starts with us.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm just getting more and more motivated as I hear these presentations. I feel like there's a bright future ahead of us in the world. Thank you, ladies. So next, and I told you guys I'm excited about this one. So next we have our next group that will be presenting on education reform. And the group members are Ashley, Bradley, Gabriel, Manushka, and Mohammed. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabriel Garrick.
And I'm Mohammed Uddin.
And today we're going to be presenting our community impact proposal about education reform. Today we're going to be focusing on the English learning students, also known as ELL students. Please raise your hand if you have ever been considered an ELL student or have taken any classes. We can see that the majority of the people in this room are ELL students. So this is very important that we can take into consideration. So we're going to be discussing the lack of resources for English learner students. This targets all students from K to 12 here in Palm Beach County. We have little fund for the English as secondary language, or also known as the ESOL program. And we have limited one-to-one translators available for those ELL students that are in need of those translators. And we also have the lack of tools for the families to support those English learner students that are at home, and now during COVID, the families don't have the tools that they need to make sure that their kids are successful and they attend to a post-secondary institution. According to the National Center of Statistics for Education, also known as NCES, there are 192,533 students enrolled in Palm Beach School District area. And out of those students, there are 25,500 ELL students. This means that 7% of the entire population of students in the Palm Beach County area, there are 7% of those students are ELL students, which means that 1 out of 13 students in a classroom may be an English learner student. And in ESOL classes, we can see that the teacher to student ratio is 1 to 17, You may think this is an okay ratio for a person that knows the language. It is okay for those that know the language, but for those that still getting used to the language, it's not okay. Our sources are here in our slides and is from the National Center for Education and Statistics.
We've devised a list of possible solutions to help ELL and ESOL students. Our organization will attempt to help ELL and ESOL students in all facets of their lives, from school to employment opportunities. Stands teachers do not always have resources such as time and curated lesson plans to give ELL and ESOL students the attention they need. Our mission is to use peer-assisted tutoring as an additional resource for students in the ESOL and ELL programs. Why peer-assisted? Sometimes students trust one another more than teachers to help. The level already there. There's already rapport and more time to help outside of typical school hours, such as at homes with their friends. Implementation ideas are to have students volunteer to help their fellow ELL students. In exchange, students will be given volunteer hours or in community service hours. This idea can start as a small pilot program at 2 local schools in the county, where we would make a study and monitor the ELL student progress in 6 to 12 months. The idea can be implemented as a club where students can help each other, and or as an ESOL class where all ELL students are required to take these classes.
Here in the next slide, we have a former EL student point of view, which is me. I came to the United States of America 3 years ago. I came here 3 years without knowing the language. I was enrolled into the Palm Beach School District educational system August 25th, 2017, and that was my first day of middle school. I don't know if you can see, but here's a picture of me, my first day of school at Jega. Uh, um, I was enrolled in the ESOL program, but I didn't receive the help that I needed to be successful throughout middle school or high school. I was forced to take the FSA for reading and writing, and I didn't get a good score on my 8th grade year because I didn't have the support that I needed from my teachers or my peers. In 9th grade, I took my FSA again, and since I had the help of my English teacher, I was able to go from a level 1 to a level 3 within 6 months of taking the FSA. And now I'm a proudly dual enrollment student at Palm Beach State College. Thank you. We all deserve the same education. I encourage you to help those ELL students that are in need of your help.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, Gabriel, for sharing your story. And next, we have our next group, which will be focusing on drugs versus society. In that group, we have our group members are Adele, Christelle, Jennifer, Kimberly, and Michelle. Ladies.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Christelle.
I'm Kimberly. I'm Michelle. I'm Adele.
and we are going to talk about drugs versus society. Introduction to drugs. Drugs are substances that make an impact on the way our bodies work, both physically and mentally. Can either be bought illegally or legally, not legally. They can be prescribed legally by your doctor. They can become addicting depending on the type of drug that you use or that you use. Drugs can affect the way people feel both physically and mentally and affect the decisions that people make. Um, the, the statistics we have on drugs are nationwide, but we're going to narrow it down to Palm Beach County. Marijuana is the leading drug, mostly abused with 1 million people. Although it's a small and men and women who abuse, the problem is that men are the leading trends in the use of drugs.
Okay, drugs on mental health. Sorry, I might have to steal some topic right now, but what we know is that when I'm feeling down, we do want to feel better. And a lot of people, they use drugs as a getaway. Sadly, they do. Substance abuse. You know what? I'll just. So, drugs pleasure your body, obviously, in many ways to get away. And people that are mentally not okay, depression, anxiety, they use this as a getaway. They could over abuse it, and people might think, oh, they're just doing drugs just to do it. And for our facility, we're trying to change that. They're not doing drugs just to do it. There's something they want to speak about. They need to be heard, and they're not being heard. They're using something else to feel better when they could just speak to a fellow friend, teacher, anybody out there. And that causes even more impact on their mental health. Over time, it just worsens, especially with the drugs. It breaks down your brain. It doesn't help in the end. And for example, there's evidence that people that abuse opioids are greater risk for depression. They already have depression, but if they use that amount, at that point, we know about the darkest times when it leads to death. Most of the time, it leads to death. And at our facility, we would carefully watch these people, talk to them before it gets to that point. And we're just trying to look at the mental impact of it and what we could do to help with that part.
How does drug abuse develop? It could be developed by peer pressure, it could be genetically passed on, or for emotional support. It could also be used to cope problems. West Palm Beach is dealing with opioid crisis. Reporters say that 5,000 overdose calls happen in the county. How somebody's using drugs, there could be unusual behavior such as aggression, laziness, or stopped. There could also be physical appearance changes or bloodshot or glazed eyes. There has been CDE analysis that drug overdose has increased. Preventing drug abuse. We can provide prevention programs that could help someone change their lifestyle. Prevention programs be or begin to be available in the community. Addiction takes time to quit over it. Drug changes the way somebody functions, and it can be really hard to quit. It's common for people to use drugs again when they have been sober. So that evaluates, there has to be changes in treatment.
Our proposal idea is a community rehabilitation center. And in our rehabilitation center, it won't be like every basic rehabilitation center where people go for a couple of months and they go back and they're back on drugs. In our center, there will be programs centered to help people from all walks of life. No matter what you're going through, there will be something there for you. There will be personal one-on-one therapy. There will be group therapy, games. There will be mentors and sponsors there for you to help you. And after you graduate for our program, because we want to have more
celebrate the fact that you made this very big first step into your journey. We want to still have that you have a mentor and a sponsor with you until you personally feel prepared and know that you won't need a mentor and a sponsor anymore.
Okay, ways to accomplish that. Funding can be funding by bake sales, of course, without COVID in the area, so probably wait on that. And within county schools, we could also have community impact nights with like your local Chick-fil-A. What I noticed there from working there, there's a lot of people where you could just ask a manager there to fund your school or whatever. They'll be able to help with that. And they're nice people, so they'll be able to help. We could talk. And fellow students, teachers, anybody could just come up and try to fund them to help our local people because of the drugs. And we could operate with willing guidance counselors around the county with their psychology methods in our establishment. They should be willing to help, and obviously we'll give them the resources to do that. And we could bring our idea to the Palm Beach County Commissioner. We could express our plans about changing our community to make sure the word goes around so that anybody that needs the program can come along. And to truly spread the word out, we could get Palm Beach schools to advertise. We could have papers, flyers around the schools to make sure that every student knows, because most drug abuse come from students, young high school students, and we would like to help those students out by showing them there's a place for them to be safe. And this is our community proposal.
So we want to remind you again as you present into the mic, because we make sure that all of our audience, not just the people in this room, but the ones that are virtually, can hear you. So don't be afraid to speak into the mic. Walk up to it and speak up. All right. Thank you, ladies. Very good presentation. And now we have our next group. Our next presentation will be on mental health awareness. This is a topic that is very hot right now. So I'm excited to hear about this, and thank you for bringing this topic to the forefront. In this group, we have Miss Gishara, otherwise known as Gigi, Montserrat, Natalia, Neftali, and Yuritsa. Ladies. So, ladies, as you present, just use this one to keep going to the next slide, okay? Here you go.
Hello. Our proposal is mental health awareness. My name is Neftali.
My name is Yuritsa.
My name is Montserrat.
And my name is Gashara, otherwise known as a bunch of things.
Today we'll be talking about mental health in teenagers. I would like to start off and say that mental health have a specific age group. Mental health can affect a wide range of ages, either in elementary or if you're in high school. And we'll like to say that it is okay to not be okay, because we all know that we don't always have our good days, and it's a struggle to go through our bad days. Some factors or triggers of mental health can be stress from keeping up with assignments and turning them in on time, filling other roles like babysitting, being a brother or sister, and anxiety. Example that we will give is if you're in class and you don't understand a lesson and you're too afraid of speaking up because you feel as if you will be judged.
So, right now we're all dealing with stress, like whether it's being a parent, trying to cope with virtual learning, and ways that can help you cope with this, like aromatherapy, which is basically a therapeutic practice that involves with essential oils, or even meditating, which helps your mind come at peace. And our goal is to provide those and to give that reassurance and guidance to those who need it the most. You're the only person who can decide whether or not you want to improve your mental health.
Well, let's talk about fulfilling other roles. We all in here have roles that we feel other than a student, right? So, fulfilling other roles, let's talk about it really quick. Outside of school, a student may have many other responsibilities. Roles are a caregiver, brother, sister, on top of finishing homework and household chores. So, to you, we present the solution of making that are realistic with yourself. Make a lot of priorities. Realize that it is okay to say no to certain activities that may be spent on other things to be done, and communicate and come up with different solutions. An example of this is splitting up chores with siblings and telling your parents what you need to get done the next day.
Many people access their mental health in different ways. Some people may write down in their journal how they feel when they don't feel confident enough to speak it out loud with other people. A drawer may draw how they feel in colors or in different shades. As Fred Andrew Bernard once said, a picture can speak 1,000 words. Everyone nowadays also has their phone in their hands. A certain solution happens if you're in a certain solution. If you're in a certain situation, you can pull out your phone and go to your notes app and type how you feel.
Anxiety and self-esteem. If you're a student, you're afraid sometimes is you okay. When you're a student in class, and a teacher is asking a question on a lesson, and every class already has the answer and understands the lesson, but you're that one person that feels lost, but you're too afraid to speak up because you feel as if someone else in the room might be judging you and saying possibly how can they not understand a lesson as quickly as they have. One of these solutions that we have is communicating with a teacher, a counselor, or a trusted adult that you feel that you could confide in, or a trusted friend.
So majority of these resources are already at your hands, whether it's using like your notepad or going in your phone, using apps to help you. Also on YouTube, find meditation videos. And also another thing is that it is very unfortunate that this isn't normalized, because 9 times out of 10, someone in this room is going through the same thing that you are, and you deserve to have that help.
Mental health can be easily assessed, and no one, regardless of who you are in this room, needs a lot of money or long hours of talking to know what mental health is and to get better from it. Of course, everything that we propose is helpful, but it does not mean much if the person in need does not come forward and take that action or step. If you see someone struggling, lend them a hand. Your presence may be all they need to take that step. I, Gishara, amongst other things, and everyone here, encourage you to take the action that you need to assess your mental health and normalize talking about mental health. It is okay to not be okay, and you all are important. This is mental health awareness. Thank you so much for your time.
If you have any questions or like you need some clarification, please come out to us. We're willing to help anyone.
Thank you, ladies, for shining that spotlight on mental health awareness. And now, I believe this is our last but not least, we will have the group that will be focusing on violence against minorities. In this group, we have Miss Chimdindu, Daphne, Samantha, Shirley, and Tasvi. Ladies, come on up.
Good evening, I'm Ms. Chimdindu, and this is Shirley. And our topic for our community impact proposal is police brutality against minorities. And we included this quote that we feel resonates with our topic, and it reads, "When any part of the American family does feel like it is being treated fairly, that's a problem for all of us." President Barack Obama.
The problem lays within our community, the acts of police brutality that people have witnessed or experienced in South, all type of ages, which makes an unsafe environment for us to live in. You can tell this acts include intimidation of past by officers, killing of innocent people, etc. This is the trigger picture for the next slide. So feel free to take a few seconds to look at the pictures. In this particular slide, 3 of our group members decided to use their social media platforms to ask a short question: have you or someone you know ever been subject to police brutality? And so you can tell 51% said yes and 49% said no.
For those who answered yes to the question previously asked, we were asked them to further describe these experiences that they said they experienced. And these are their replies. I'll read a few. One person explained the experience in which they were pulled out through a passenger window, slammed through the ground. And then on this side, we have the replies. And a friend of mine was kind enough to share her story. She goes on to explain how her and her friend were driving and then pulled over by a police officer. This police officer racially profiled her 16-year-old friend because she was African American, out a gun on her. The situation was fortunately de-escalated by a bystander nearby. Occurrence of police brutality left an imprint on both of these young girls' lives.
This is just more evidence and statistics, and the below it shows that out of 186 people who died of police brutality, 56 of them were from Florida. In the next picture, you can see the kind of people affected by it. Even though the numbers of white people murdered by police is higher, it is proportional to the population of white people in Florida. This is not the case for the Black population. We decided to add quotes that resonate with this topic, and I'll read the first quote. Hard to believe that people you look for safety and security are the same people who are causing us so much harm, but I'm not lying and I'm not delusional. I am scared and I am hurting. I really need you to believe me. Quoted by Ijuma Olu, so you want to talk about race.
So now we will get into what our is. We plan to create and rotate a class which will be titled "A Matter of Life and Death on Police Brutality." Our class's mission seeks to inform and educate people about police brutality against minorities. Also seeks to spread through high school students, interactive environment of learning in order to educate the youth in our community. While educating said youth, or organization will also equip them with the information needed to handle occurrences of police brutality. Specific actions taken, we have taken to facilitate these class. Our class will be peer taught and will be facilitated through Google Meets. But once a month, we plan to meet, i.e. public libraries, parks, and guest speakers. Along with these once a month, we will have assessment and assess participants' understanding of the material. Along with the questions that we previously showed, we asked some of our followers to questions of topics, lessons they would like to see in our class. And some of these included educating citizens on their rights, experiences of others and how to protect yourself, crime rates against police, and we also make sure to commemorate the victims of police brutality, which include DeCarlos, Latasha Walton, Corey Jones, Tony McDade, and others.
Our conclusion to this topic was that police brutality is a major issue within minority groups in South Florida and within the United States. The intended outcome of our proposal is to provide people with a deeper understanding on police brutality against minorities.
Are to take action, fight the battle of racism in the police for the violence that is being done against minority groups. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Okay, everyone. Big breath, right? You did that. Good job. Okay, so I just want to say congratulations to all the students who participated in our Community Impact Night. You guys are phenomenal to put in work above and beyond what you're already doing at school, in your advanced classes, in your dual enrollment classes, helping your families, working. You all are truly impressive. And I know that there's no limit to what you can do and what you can handle. So I just want to thank you all and just congratulate you all for participating and for showing the rest of your community what excellence looks like in high school. So congratulations, everyone. Right now, our staff is tabulating the scores from our virtual judges panel. And so we will be getting the award, the winners, the name of the winner very shortly. But while we do that, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to our guest judges who are watching and tabulating as you all speak virtually. I want to give a shout out to our team, our amazing team with our college coaches who are AmeriCorps serving with us, Christina Romulus, Anthony Averso, and our board, and everybody who comes together to make Path to College work. Our team has put a lot of work behind the scenes in working with student groups and individual students and really going above and beyond to get to know you each as individuals so that we may provide our right for you. So good job, team. So proud of you. I'm so blessed to work with you all. Appreciate you. I want to thank Grad Prep. Grad Prep has offered to give the winning group a little extra award money. So you will get $25 each from Path to College. And then Grad Prep is going to also put some on top of that. So, you know, hard work pays off. Let us never forget that hard work pays off. And so I'd also like to thank our sponsors. We have some amazing funders and granting institutions who really back the work and who through their work in this community and their investment in our program are showing their belief in each of you. And so when we opened this morning or this afternoon, I said to you all, you have a community behind you of people who are ready to invest in you, from our mentors to our board, to our volunteers, funders, and some of those funders who have had an incredible impact on our program and the growth of this program include the United Way of Palm Beach County, DeLuca Foundation, the Community Foundation, and many more, including so many donors that, you know me, know this program, have watched us grow over the years and continue to give what they can to help you all. So I hope you all take a moment of just gratitude to know that you have so many people behind you. So how close are we on these winners? 30 seconds. I also want to thank Commissioner Mack Bernard for coming out and really sharing his story with us. I did not know Mac's whole story, and it was just beautiful to hear and learn that there's really no excuse for that gets in the way of your personal excellence. And I know that I've seen that in our program so many times in our students who rise above challenges that so many people would use as an excuse. I want to shout out some of our students. We have one student in the house, Taina, who is a semi-finalist for scholarship. And so we are rooting for her. I think she just ran to the rooting for her. We have one current student, Edson, who was matched through the Quest Bridge program with Notre Dame, and we're very proud of him. He'll go on a full ride to Notre Dame. One of our former students, also Amy, was also matched through Notre Dame, who I'm taking it as a win because we were still there helping her with her personal statement, because once a fellow, always a fellow. And we say that all the time. And so many other students have put out applications and we're still waiting. But I have no doubt this senior class has been so phenomenal to work with. I truly love them all. And I know that we're going to be getting such amazing results, acceptance letters, scholarships for all of them because they put the work in. So I can't wait for those letters and acceptances to be rolling in. Looking at Merlene right now because I know I've read her personal statement and it is so good. So I know they'll be coming in. Winner? Come on over. Here it comes, the winners. Okay, so we're going to announce the winner, I know. And after, we're going to have pizza.
So third place was a tie.
Oh, wow. Okay, so third place this evening was tied between impurities, pollution, and violence against minorities. The second place group was homelessness. Congratulations. And so winners, I'm just going to ask you to stand and we'll just clap for you because we'll get you your awards later, okay? So the first place winner of Path to College's Community Impact Night 2020 is Education Reform. So I have to do a okay. Congratulations, everyone. Oh, we're getting a little crowded up here. Let me put my mask back on. Thank you, Ryan from Coda Creatives, for running audiovisual for us tonight. We appreciate you. And thank you to all of our mentors who are at home rooting you on and who meet with our students weekly to get to know you and invest in you. We know that you're the foundation of this program. And so with that, I encourage anybody watching who wants to know more about Path to College to visit our website, pathtocollege.org, and check out all that we do. There's so many ways to get involved. And so I will let you all virtually go for the evening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for caring about the future of our community, our students.
I want to tell you all, nothing is impossible. Just work hard and God is good. You are gonna be the place where you wanted to be. 3 years ago, I couldn't speak English. Today, I'm here and I'm speaking the language. And last night, I finished that presentation at 3 in the morning. And this morning, I woke up at 6 to go study for my certification exam. And hard work pays off. Work hard and you'll get whatever you want.
Okay, so lack of sleep aside, we're going to have pizza. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to keep it as safe as possible. We're going to ask you all, please line up along this wall 6 feet apart like we've been doing all evening. And so you'll grab your slice of pizza. We have gifts for you. I told you we got you all ring lights to prepare for your interview up next month. And then you're all getting a leather-bound notebook as well. And then on your way out, we have books that have been donated by the Literacy Corps of America in Palm Beach County. So feel free to pick a book. We do ask that you don't overly handle the books because we're trying to stay safe. Just if you see one, grab it. We try to lay it out and spread it out. And then I just want to say one more thing. I don't think we're still live, right? We're not. Okay, so I just want to say one more thing. Just Gabriel, kind of